Picture this. You and your absolute best friend are sitting there, reading the exact same paragraph in a novel. You both look up at the exact same time. You're like, oh man, the main character is definitely about to betray his team. But your friend goes, no way, he's just doing whatever it takes to protect them. So how on earth can two smart people read the exact same sentence, look at the literal exact same words, come to completely different conclusions, and somehow both be absolutely right? Well, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to solve this little mystery by mastering something called the art of collaborative inference. Think of me as your guide today. Our roadmap is super clear. We're going to cover 1. The power of perspective, 2. Iron sharpening iron, 3. How to compare inferences, 4. 3 real-world examples, 5. Your turn to reflect, and finally, smart, good, and peaceful. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The power of perspective. Okay, let's dive into this. To figure out how two readers can stare at the exact same thing but think entirely differently, we have to recognize one massive truth. Reading isn't just about the words printed on the page, it's actually about the person who's reading them. Collaborative inference is what happens when we combine clues from the text with our own unique background knowledge and personal interpretation. See, everyone brings a totally different set of life experiences to whatever they're reading. Maybe you've experienced a betrayal in the past, so you instantly recognize those signs in a character. But maybe your friend has been in a situation where they had to keep a secret just to keep someone safe, so they read those exact same clues completely differently. Because we all have diverse backgrounds, multiple viewpoints aren't just common, they are completely valid. Well, as long as they're backed up by actual evidence from the text, of course. Section 2, iron sharpening iron. So what actually happens when these different viewpoints collide? Does a collision of ideas just mean endless arguing? No, not at all. Let's look at a really powerful visual metaphor that's going to completely change how you view disagreements or differing opinions. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. That's Proverbs 27:17. This piece of ancient wisdom perfectly captures our goal here. Think about a blacksmith sharpening a blade. They don't just gently rub it against a soft piece of silk, right? No, they strike it against another hard piece of metal. There's friction. There are literal sparks. But you know what? That friction isn't a bad thing at all. When you compare your perspective with someone else's, that mental friction rubs away your blind spots. It makes you a sharper, more flexible thinker, and honestly, a way better team player. Section 3. How to compare inferences. Now that we know exactly why we need that friction to sharpen our minds, we need a solid game plan. How do we actually do this without it turning into just a noisy argument? Let's get practical. Let's move to and see how this builds. Here is a highly effective, super simple 3-step procedure you can use in any discussion. Step 1, share your inference and clearly explain your reasoning using text clues. Don't just say what you think, say why you think it. Step 2, listen carefully to others, and I mean truly listen, not just sort of waiting for your turn to speak again. Step 3, ask questions. Ask yourself, are they looking at different clues? Do they have some background knowledge that I just don't have? By evaluating their evidence, you might just uncover a much bigger, richer picture that the author intended all along. Section 4, 3 real-world examples. So, what does this sharpening process actually look like when you're reading a story? Let's take a look at exactly what happens when you're discussing a concept or reading with a group. In our first example, let's say a character is sitting all alone at lunch, just staring at the ground. Reader A observes this and infers, wow, this character is really sad. But reader B looks at the exact same scene and infers, this character is lonely. Both readers noticed the exact same physical clues, the isolation, the downward gaze, but they interpreted the emotional weight entirely differently. And guess what? They're both absolutely right. Combining those inferences gives us a much deeper, more complex understanding of the character's internal pain. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this applies to the big ideas, the overarching themes of a story. Let's say we read a story about climbers trying to reach the peak of a huge mountain. Reader A says, the theme is perseverance because they never gave up. But reader B says, no, the theme is friendship. They only survive because they helped each other. By bringing these two valid, evidence-backed ideas together, our appreciation of the text just explodes. We suddenly realize it's actually a story about how friendship enables perseverance. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. And it applies to the future of the story, too. Imagine an author drops a dark, ominous clue, like a huge storm gathering on the horizon. Reader A uses that foreshadowing to predict a tragic ending where the hero totally fails. Reader B uses the exact same storm clue to predict an epic final battle where the hero overcomes all the odds. The exact same foreshadowing leads to two entirely different, yet highly logical predictions. Comparing these ideas is exactly what makes analyzing text so much more thrilling. Section 5. Your turn to reflect. All right, we've talked about the theory and we've seen the examples. Now I'm passing the baton straight to you. I want you to really think about these next few points. Ask yourself, why do different inferences arise from the exact same text? How does the act of comparing them actually strengthen your own logic? When you listen to a peer, what exact evidence are they using that you might have totally missed? Could you give your own example of two valid inferences stemming from a single clue? And finally, why is evidence so absolutely crucial? Wrestling with these questions and always making sure to back up your thoughts with solid evidence, well, that is where the real growth happens. Section 6. Smart, good, and peaceful. As we start wrapping up this explainer, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. We've talked a lot about how to be incredibly sharp, analytical thinkers, but there's a core philosophy here about why we even learn in the first place. As the Academy Godly Learner series teaches us, biblical morality must be deeply intertwined with education. Because honestly, education without morality is going to hurt. Think about it for a second. What is the point of being the absolute smartest person in the room? What's the point of being incredibly educated, able to analyze any text perfectly, if you just continue to make bad, selfish choices that end up hurting yourself and the people around you? Being a skilled analytical thinker literally means nothing if it isn't paired with the moral compass to make good, harmless choices in your everyday life. When you're comparing your ideas with someone else's, when that iron is striking iron, it is so easy to let your ego take over, right? But Romans 8:6-7 promises true peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. A spiritual mind allows you to beautifully collaborate with others. It gives you the patience to truly listen, the humility to accept that someone else might see something you totally missed, and the deep respect required to genuinely value diverse perspectives. So, the absolutely crucial takeaway is this. Analyzing texts and collaborating, these aren't just academic exercises you leave in the classroom. They're practice for life. You now have the tools to evaluate evidence, respect different viewpoints, and grow stronger through conversation. I challenge you to combine that sharp intelligence with a good, peaceful heart. Let me leave you with this one final thought as you step out into the world today. Will you just argue to be right, or will you be the iron that sharpens others?